And thanks everyone for coming out today. My name is Kenneth Johnson. I'm the diversity staffing specialist here at the Urban League of Philadelphia. I do that 2 days a week. I'm here on Mondays and Wednesdays. The other 5 days a week, I'm president of a company called East Coast Executives. We're an executive search and employment services firm operating in New York City. Right now we're on Madison Avenue, but we're moving back uptown September 3rd, so we're really excited to be going back to Harlem. So that's a good thing. I thought it was really interesting what we spoke about today, what Carla was speaking about, and then some of you guys shared, because I was speaking to a guy that works here today, and he just told me that he's getting ready to leave because he has this unbelievable opportunity with the university here. And I said to him, I said, how'd you come about the job? He was like, they called me. And I just think that's a great place to be in. Once I decided what it was that I wanted to do for a living, I never looked for another job again. The opportunities found me because I believe I positioned myself as what I call an SME, and that's basically a subject matter expert. So I positioned myself in a situation where people came for me. So I was listening to what Rhonda was speaking about. Rhonda, right?
Yes.
And it was so interesting because when I first came into the field that I'm in, I said I wanted to own a staffing firm, right? I wanted to own a temporary staffing firm because that's really all I knew about. So I went and worked for a temporary staffing firm, and then I found opportunities. I realized that basically what I was saying is that I wanted to be a recruiter. I just didn't know that that was the right term for what I wanted to do. And then as I decided I wanted to be a recruiter, a gentleman approached me about being a diversity recruiter. He approached me about being an executive search recruiter. And that was great because then I would be working on higher level positions, right? So I would have more impact and financially it would work better for me. So I went from here, let's do this like this. So I went from temp staffing, right? Temp staffing, and then I became a recruiter, and then I became an executive search professional, right? Executive search. And then as I became an executive search and a professional and I started getting really good at that, I decided I wanted to help people that looked a lot like me. People that had some experiences that were similar to mine, people that were underrepresented. So they told me that that would be a diversity recruiter, right? So I became a diversity recruiter, but all in all, like I told you, I started here because I wanted to own a firm. And it just so happens, it's much easier to own a diversity search firm than it is to own a temporary staffing firm. Strange thing about temporary staffing, every Friday, a whole bunch of people got to get paid. With executive search, I recruit you, I place you with the company, I build a company, they pay me, it's over, right? It's just a much better situation. And I've managed these offices, I've managed regions and districts. That's a hard job up here. But nonetheless, once I never applied for any of these jobs. They kept coming to me because people started seeing and valuing what it was that I brought to the table as a recruiter and as a leader of people. So when I was listening to Rhonda, right, and she said she was in social services, am I right? Social services? Okay. And you said you like to help people, right?
Yes, particularly youth.
Youth. What kind of youth?
Youth in urban areas who
so
are disadvantaged.
Urban youth, right? Excuse my writing. That's not meant for you guys to read. It's meant for me to read. Urban youth that are disadvantaged. How are they disadvantaged?
Through lack of resources, maybe lack of income, lack of educational opportunities.
So urban youth that may come from low-income situations.
Low income, yes.
All right. So urban youth. So you want to serve as youth that come from low-income situations. Any particular city or part of the city that kind of is an emotional attachment for you?
Well, I did gain, I would say West Philadelphia,
okay.
because I did a lot of experience that I got in that area was in West Philly,
So social service of youth, urban youth, and low incomes in West Philadelphia, right? So So you also said you have a passion for theater,
Yeah.
right? So let's just say that we're interested in theater, right? And this is, I know this might be the trump right here. This might be the part that's hard to find.
Yeah.
But there are some theater companies in West Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so if you break all of this down, right, and this is the area that you choose to focus in on, you'll become the subject matter expert for this population, right? And then people will see the great things you're doing in West Philly, and they'll start to come from all over the world to check for you. Let's go. Yep.
Towards that, it's interesting that you bring this up because people were starting to come to me.
Okay.
And I don't wanna say were, but maybe still are, because I do it freelance. I
Yeah.
do freelance,
Okay.
workshop facilitation.
So then what happened? You decided you wanted to do something else?
No, well, I do it, according to, who calls me to come. Like if someone needs a workshop done, like a performing arts workshop
Sure.
done, I'll come and do it.
Do you have a blog or anything? How do you market that service?
I haven't been marketing it, it's just through word of mouth, people who recommend me
So let's
and
just,
things,
so let's just say if you were more strategic in your approach, like you're here looking for something that you already possess. Where we do a good job, myself and Carla and the rest of the team here, is that we kind of will allow you to take a look at yourself that maybe you can't see sitting within and say, hey, you're dynamic at this. People just don't know it. It's almost like however you came here to the Urban League of Philadelphia. We're really good at what we do in career services. We're outstanding. I don't think we market it well enough. I think if we really, really locked in and started marketing the services we had, our impact would be so unbelievable, here in this city. And it can be and will be, but I just believe that if you started kind of strategically seeking opportunities to tell people and show people what you do, they
I
would.
think a part of it is fear.
Yeah.
Part of it has been fear.
I hope that was on that thing that you just threw away. And as Carla was speaking about that, that's why I said it makes so much sense to speak about what it is that you want. A lot of people say that they want something, but they're so fearful of going to get it. And what do they say? Anything worth it isn't easy. And that's kind of the piece that we have to understand. It's not, I heard people say, well, the business closed, and that's fine, or I was outsourced, or I was let go for whatever reason, and that happens. That's a part of life. But I just encourage you to completely focus in on embracing what it is that you do. This gentleman here said that he was really good at resolving customer issues when he was at the Inquirer, right? And it's so interesting. There's always a connection. This gentleman, I'm sorry, what was your name, sir? Ben spoke about the printing industry, right? And I heard just a piece of your stuff. But that industry changed, which in turn, your industry changed because the newspapers were online and they lost. You have to find a way to keep moving through the process of positioning yourself as an SME in it. And when you're there, you'll see it coming. It won't hit you. You'll be gone way before it happens because you're speaking to people that are influencers in the space. I don't know, do any of you guys have a LinkedIn profile?
Yes.
Is anybody on LinkedIn? I know Steven is on LinkedIn. You gotta leverage it. Leverage your LinkedIn profile to connect with people in the industry, connect with people that have things going on. Whatever it is that you're looking to do, there's a network of people out here doing it, and you just gotta get active in those communities. Everybody's a business of one now. There's no other way to look at it. There's no job security anyway. The security is going to come within yourself. So we're here to help you guys connect with employers. That's our ultimate goal. That's the thing we write down at the end of the year when we do our reports. How many people did you connect with employers? But I think our biggest impact is just getting you to think a little differently about your skill set and taking ownership over it. Everybody's going to be a consultant at the end of the day. Steven's really good at what he does. A lot of the stuff that he spoke about, they were soft skills. But I'm 100% positive because I've seen his resume. There's some metrics on there, some numbers that are very quantifiable. That's what gets you hired. That's the stuff that you got to start selling. Where you had your impact, and that's what Carla was speaking about. Where you had your impact. And typically at the end of the day for companies, That's all related to revenue and retaining customers, which basically is revenue and things of that nature. And I don't care what you do. It's at the end of the day, how did you have an impact? So I'm glad you guys are here. I'm 100% positive that we can be of some assistance to you. And speaking of that 100%, we'll be as committed to the process as you are. So I don't know, if you're giving us 30, you're probably gonna get 30 back from us, all right? I'm just gonna be truthful with you. That's just the way it works, because we have people here that are gonna give 100. So it's almost like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Guess what? If we see you at our events, if we know that you've taken the mock interview, if you came in and done mock interviews, and if you sat in on the workshops, and then you came to the employer events, we're more willing to advocate on your behalf with those employers and kind of help you through your process. But at the end of the day, if everybody here lands a job next month, that's great, but I don't want to see you back here in 6 months saying that the company let you go. As soon as you get wherever you're going, start networking for your next opportunity. Start positioning yourself to be that person they can't let go of, they can't get rid of. Be that person. That's just my word for you in your job search right now. So I thank everybody for coming out today. I think it's going to be great to work with you guys, and there seems to be some synergy even within the group. So I hope you guys also connect and work with each other, because I think networking is the easiest way to your next opportunity. So network with us, network with one another, and I think we can figure this line out and find out exactly where it is that you need to be and where you add value. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions? My contact information will be in a packet that you guys will receive. Please feel free to give me a call, set up a time with me. I'm here Mondays and Wednesdays, where we can do a one-on-one session. Myself, Carla, we're a team here. We work really hard at connecting you guys. So with that being said, please do not let this be the last time that we see you. All right?
This is all of our
Thank you,
contact
everyone. I
info.
appreciate it.